and I put it in the chuck, and I turn it around. Put a tenon on one end, and I end up with something that looks kind of like this round. It's this round all the way out with a tenon on the end. Put the tenon in, and then I start here and hollow out this part. I drill a hole in the middle with a drill that goes about 5/8 of an inch to within probably a half an inch of the bottom of where I want my goblet to be. And then I can start boring this out, either with a Forstner or with just a round nose scraper. Get that done after I've done the outside. Do the outside down to about here so that I've got something that looks like that, still round. Then I've got this part done. Everybody knows how to turn a bowl. Basically, that's what I'm going to turn a bowl right here. Then I take a badan and I go in on this side. Then I go in on this side to get this piece right here.
Explain what a badan is.
A badan?
Explain it. It's a square scraper.
Square scraper. It's basically about anywhere from 3/8 to a half inch wide.
Square.
Square.
Yeah.
And you're basically just cutting a band in here. And then I take this, do the same thing here, and now I've got the potential for 2 rings. I take that, and I cut the ring off, and I tape it here. Then I cut, what I would do with my next demonstration, I put this into the chuck, and I would take this one off. And I use...
Wait, when do you do the
bend
base?
tool.
When
Where's
do
your
you-
bend tool?
Cut of your head.
Just watch it.
This is the tool that I use.
You need to do another.
And basically, this is in the chuck like this. And you take this and go in right here. This just scrapes this out, turn it over
Mike, kind of rotate it so the people over here can see too.
here. Then I turn around and do it on this side till I loose the ring from it. It just separates it out. So now I've got a ring captured on this base.
It's got a little over. It's got a little over.
Mike, can you pass the tool around, please?
Pass the tool around.
I'm going to pass the tool around.
What about the pieces?
This tool is just a round nose scraper
Then up.
where it's sharpened straight up and down on the end. That way you can use it on the left side or the right. Both top and the bottom are cutting edges. One will go in left.
Ron and I made that using an Allen wrench.
Okay, here is a commercially sold ring tool. So you can pass that.
I'll pass this around understanding that that's what I would be doing if I were to see what this looks like. And this is the one that I've just got taped and ready to go. Now, once I've got both rings loose, what I do is I tape a piece of sandpaper to the stem of the goblet. And I use that, spinning on the chuck, to sand the inside of the ring.
That's a trick. That's a trick.
That's a little trick, you know. That,
So it's self-sanding.
yeah, so this is spinning, and I use this to just work this around to get it. And if you'll look, I've kind of done one on here, and the other one I hadn't started that. I wanted to show that tonight. And then there's one of those, the one that Richard's got. You can see where I started the parting tool to take the tenon off, basically.
How do you sand the outside of the rings?
You sand it before you even take them off.
Oh, I see.
You sand that whole ring on the outside of the ring before you ever take it off. So all you have to do is sand the inside. And you'll see that one of those is going to make a what I call a flat ring, and the others are going to make round rings. And you can make any shaped goblet you want. You can see that I've got 3 different shapes here, basically.
It's very cool.
What's the most rings you ever did on it? So far.
2. I mean, I don't see any reason why I couldn't do more. It's just a matter of you have to have enough room to be able to get the tool in.
I think I saw 18 on one.
18, probably was the novel.
Yeah, they're small. They're like rings inside other rings.
Before you take the.
Yes.
Tool that you have.
Yeah, you've got that piece like that,
You make it.
and you basically, you can stand the outside by the spinning, and get that the shape you want, and you can actually go almost all the way in. And then, if you really want to, if you use that tool,
Did you use,
you can take it out what's almost off and then sand that, but I find it just as easy, just, if you're careful, you can get it pretty near round, just when you're taking the ring off. And then it's a matter of moving up, separating, and sanding down the stem to the right size. You want to put the sandpaper on it and sand the ring.
You always want to do that on end grain. If you do it on side grain, you're going to lose the rings.
Yeah,
Always on end grain, good and straight grain,
yeah,
right?
yep. I usually use, I like the mahogany, which is what I've been using, and I look for logs maybe this big around, big logs, and then cut the pieces out of that closer, so I've got that, like you said, nice straight, 4-inch square, 12, 14 inches long, and one of them's a little shorter, but basically, it's just, if you want a longer stem on your dog, just get a longer piece of wood.
but could you just use like a straight up stump?
Yep.
Like a
You want
lid?
to center it with a piece of wood 4 or 5 inches in diameter, so you have, the
Bill?
rings are, the center is in the center. So the rings are strong because the grain is circular.
But then don't you,
Just off the stem, but not over near the edge where the rings are going to
Yeah,
be.
the more ring you have, physical ring in the grain, the stronger it's going to be.
I want to see this.
It's going to be there.
I never thought of that, but I always worried about, whenever I do a bowl, that I do that way, I'm always worried about it cracking. And I would just think like this one,
No,
those
the
are
ring
probably
would never
never
crack because it's, where rosewood and mahogany would work fine for that.
I want to see it. So,
And next time when I come back, if I get to do the actual demonstration, I'll bring everything back and I'll bring the right chuck and the adapter to fit on that particular device, so you can actually see it work. It doesn't take very long. It takes,
but if you want to do something
Yeah.
small,
We have small Talon chucks at the shop that are 1/8.
so is this what you use to make that long, tall one? This?
No, I
Cuts the ring. I have 2 of those.
that just makes the ring and cuts it off.
I know that big thing has a,
No, I use the smaller one I made out of an aluminum. Similar to the one he has. Yeah. But, yeah, this,
so if you have this,
It's easier than it is.
yeah, you just go in like that, and then you do this that way, and you sand it, and then you just keep working left and right.
so
But your
then
limit
we're
is
saying
the
your ring can
diameter
only
of
be that.
Yeah,
The ring is-
yeah, it is.
Right, you can't have a ring like that.
now, one of the things that I also do,
Okay,
But
guys.
his is just an L, so you got room.
He's still doing his demo, guys.
one of the things that I do when I got one of these, and I'm getting ready to do the rings, I take a pad like this, and I put it in here, and I use my lot, the other end, not the drive end, and use my tailpiece. The tailstock, to do it here, just to help stabilize this.
Yeah.
Because it's out that far, and that just helps to stabilize it and keep it straight. So it's just a little aid.
Yeah, I dropped it.
Is this tissue?
Yeah, it's just a piece of towel.
Paper towel.
Very smart.
But it helps to have the bottom, but it also keeps it locked in so that it doesn't move on me while I'm doing these. And these are the ones I made for a flat ring. And all you do is take this down, and it's already sanded on the outside, and you can sand it here. So all I've really got to do is just cut it in and then sand that bottom part.
How long does it take you to make one?
I can do one of these start to finish in about a day. So it's about 5 hours maybe.
How long did it take you to make your first one?
My first one, I didn't use rings. And that one, I didn't put rings on it, just made a goblet. And I would say I did that one learning, it probably took me a day and a half. But now I can do one of these, pretty quickly. It's not a difficult task, and it's just a neat little trick, and then you end up with something that's kind of,
Yeah, makes the piece a little more interesting.
yeah, makes it a little more interesting.
And you'll always get people at a show or something going, how did you do that? Whether they ask you or not, they're going, how did you do that?
And the reason why I like to make these flat ones like this is that if you're going to use this for a gift to somebody, for a wedding or an anniversary, their name here, the man's name here, the woman's name here, or if you're more important, you put the woman's name on top and the man's name on the bottom.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, but it's just a nice way to do something like that. Or you can also do it on the round ones, you know, you just simply carve the name into it, and then it becomes, a significant, or you can even put down their names here and put an anniversary date or wedding date, something like that. It's significant. A lot of different things you can do with it.
Or you can make colored rings, and that way you'll know which white glass is yours.
Yeah.
It's true.
Or you can make one out of mahogany,
Or-
make one out of a different wood.
Or Cynthia, which glass you're going to piss in?
Yeah.
It's young girl. Yes,
Green.
green, yes.
That one I did with a faucet. Right down, real fast. But these, most of these I just turned with a round nose scraper.
Wow.
But
You don't use the gouge to solid front?
no,
No, yeah, you can turn that tide.
but then, once you've got it turned like this, and you actually take these off, then you can use this to take off the tenon. And I just do the parting tool, just to show you basically that's the finish item right there. Sorry I couldn't actually do the demonstration tonight. And I hollow down on either side of the area where I want to make the ring. And I leave a space about 1 inch wide for my tool to go into. And I can do 1 or 2 or 3 or however many you want. If you want to put more than 2 or 3 rings on it, you can do a ring and use a parting tool and go in right next to the side you want, and you end up with a gap about that wide, but you work from one side to take the ring off, as opposed to working both sides. Some people like to work from both sides. I like to do it that way because I can round both sides.
I'll protect you.
6 times.
So anyway, she,
That's what
then we
I was
could
told
use it
for safety
down.
purposes.
I noticed that. When we had the celebration of Polish July. But, we did, plus we had tournament.
This is the tool that I showed you the last time I was here. Basically, it's just a hook. familiar with this tool. Forward.
Wrong way.
No, it's right.
Oh, okay, no, my bad.
You're looking at it from the
You're
wrong
looking
side.
at
I'm looking at it from the wrong side. Oh, I'm tight.
Yep, tightness.
There you go.
Or pens. Yeah, pens.
I don't know what I mentioned, but one of the things that you can do before you even start this, I've sanded this already, before I take it off. All the outside is done and on both sides. So I basically got the ring almost finished.
I did call them and tell them, I said, hey, the whole way up there, and people asking me about
I really don't know that I'm just so
And you can see I'm already starting to cut through
setting up, you're doing it,
here.
setting up.
So I'm being close, I just have to be careful.
Coming home and trying to get shit done for the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, woohoo! That was fun.
There's my ring. Now, what I would, if I was gonna do this other thing right away,
I'll pick that up.
I take out
A piece of tape.
tape.
I think you need to put that somewhere else.
Yeah. You need that tool drawer.
There should be two little dowels on the end of that. Keep stuff from rolling off.
But anyhow, I can use 2 or 3 pieces of tape that basically allows this to spin while I work on this one, keep it separate. Now, I've already done that on this one, so I could take this one off if I wanted to. But after I've gotten them both off, then I can take the center part down, take this out, take it down, and I end up with something that's that diameter. And I take some 80 or 100 grit sandpaper, and I put it on the stem.
Sandy inside the ramp that way.
With your chisels rolling off, it reminds me of a video that I saw a couple months ago. A guy that I follow on Instagram had a camera in his shop going, and he was working. He had chisels like we all do, sitting on the bed, and he moved the tool rest to get the piece out, and wasn't paying attention. It knocked one of his chisels, and slowly rolled, and they all go chisel point down, of course. But anyway, it created a spark, and he had shavings from a resin turning down there, and it went up immediately.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm terrified of fire to begin with, but if you ever work with resin especially, one spark will set it off.
And I had a ball gouge 10 days ago roll off, and I usually jump, but I had the foam pants, and it hit, came down like that with the flute down and caught me right here, and I have a perfect hook, about a ½ inch, where it
Thought it was a tattoo.
just clawed me.
And don't ever turn the sandals on.
No.
So
The steel
basically,
always goes point down.
Yeah.
I've got
Even
this.
sneakers are going to protect you. If you had sneakers on,
I
it still
can,
goes.
I can take these away, so I can do one at a time, or just leave them both running at the same time. But then, I can stand the inside. Of the ring to get it smooth. And I can change the grip from 80 to 100, 120, 150, all the way up to get them done. And that's what basically does the inside ring. You've already done the outside before you took it off. That's my demonstration.
All right.
It's not that difficult. It's just a matter of turning the goblet, then moving down about an inch and setting up how big a ring you want to make. And then open that up.
And you keep doing that, and do 17 rings on one piece.
You can, if you want to make the stem long enough, you can do that. And as I said, if you take a parting tool, like this, you can just come in, go in, and just make a series of them. Those indentations, and then you just take them off from one side, move them over, and tape them up, and keep them moving over there. So it's very simple. Turn the goblet first, and I did 3 different shapes just to show you that that's your artistic design.
The sky's the limit.
Lee Sky, the limit?
Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely
But
the
also,
limit.
as a follow-up, 2 meetings ago, you showed us an interesting tool that you could use specifically for this, so
I always
maybe.
said commercially bought.
No, I
yeah.
understand, but maybe you can send me a picture of that, or just
Okay.
send me a link or something so that I can just follow up, because I think that's interesting and helpful.
I made the one like he suggested from the Allen wrench. It works beautiful.
I made them out
So
of
can you
old
give me a picture of that
screwdrivers
too?
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
send me
if
a
everybody
picture
looks
of
at
that.
this, it's just like a 1/4 inch Allen wrench that's been
And you can make smaller ones if you want.
Don't.